is up, everybody? We're back in the fish room. Been a little while since I've done a fish room update on the entirety of the fish room, just in general, not specifically on this tank or this tank. But the fish room is going through another change, another big change. I'm taking the 5-shelf, 4-shelf rack, metal rack that was right there, and I'm moving it back here, and I'm taking this tank and along with some other stuff and moving it to where that big rack used to be. What I'm going to do is lay out basically a rack made of concrete and 2x4 wood layered on top with plywood, and I'm going to make a row of 10-gallon, 20-gallon long tanks along that wall, considering that's where all of the outlets in the ring are. It's just a lot easier to put all the tanks on that side. So using the system that I used to make this stand, just stacking concrete blocks on top of each other, combining that with plywood and 2x4s, I can make a fairly cheap, easy to build, easy to break down rack that doesn't take me like 10 minutes like the standard issue steel one did. So I'm going to give you a closer look at what's going on over there and a better in detail look on what I'm actually going to do. Alright, so this is the area that the metal rack used to be, if you haven't seen the previous videos where I introduce it and show updates on it. As you can see, this wall is where all of the outlets are in this room. There aren't any over there or on this wall. So moving all the fish tanks over here is just going to make plugging everything a bit easier, as well as I'm changing the RO system. Well, not really changing the RO system, changing the RO delivery system that I have in here. It previously came in underneath the door, traveling along the floor. You can see that yellow cord traveling along the floor and into the red bucket and the left gray one. I'm going to change it so when I make these racks, and I'm about to explain in a second, when I make these racks, if you can see right there, there's that little tube. That's where the RO is coming up. So it's going to travel up through the tube, and then there's a little elbow right there that I can use to direct the water, and I've got a fairly large amount of RO tubing right there. So I'm just going to have that lined along that crack in the false wall, so I can easily just put a T on where I need it and have water go into tanks to fill them up. So now that I've explained all the minor stuff, I'm going to show you what I actually plan on doing in this change. Right, so for those of you who don't know, this is my secondary 65-gallon aquarium. It's acrylic, it's Euro braced, and it's rimless, thankfully. It's got rounded corners on the front, blah blah blah. It's a really nice tank. I got it off aquariumplants.com. I think they're still selling it. It's like $200, $300, $400, something like that, for the tank. It's really nice tank. It's not tall, it's really wide, so aquascaping, blah blah, not important right now. But I don't think I showed this in the setup for this aquarium, but this stand right here is basically just cinder blocks stacked on top of each other. If I could show you the side panels, which I'm not going to, but it's just basically looks the same thing as right here, and then right between the cinder blocks and the actual tank there is a sheet of plywood. I think it's like 1/4 inch or something like that. So it's a fairly thin sheet of plywood that just helps distribute the weight being forced on the cinder blocks. There are a lot of cinder blocks there just because I wanted to make sure, absolutely sure, that this tank wasn't gonna like shatter on the bottom because the weight was displaced improperly. So what I'm planning on doing is replicating that system over there. I've already tested it out, kind of, with this 10-gallon that houses the other Richardi cichlid, and it's a rough sketch right now, I guess, but that's basically how it's gonna work. Just one cinder block, or a few cinder blocks laid on top of each other and next to each other, and then the tank's right on top of it. I don't want to make the tanks too high, but I also don't want to make it too low, so I'm thinking one cinder block, maybe half a cinder block, something like that, a shorter version. But for right now, that is the best solution I have. It's not going to be too difficult to build. I just need a bunch of cinder blocks and some plywood that I actually already have from another rack that we broke down, so that won't be too hard to find. But the 2x4s I'm gonna have to go buy. Just gotta make the measurements and everything like that. But it's just gonna be 30 inches by however long I can get it out from here, going out to 30 inches this way, so I can have vertically laid 20-gallon logs and 29 gallons. I'm going to move that 29 gallon from upstairs down here, and I'm just going to have them rode all the way along, and hopefully I can get this to work very well. For the outlets, I'm searching for bar extenders, so they're kind of like just a 5-foot bar of just all outlets, so I can plug in a bunch of stuff. I'm looking for a piston air pump. Actually, I don't remember what they're called. Diaphragm pump? I can't remember what they're called, but they're basically just a huge air pump that I can just have run around the entire fish room and just deliver air and bubbles and everything to all the tanks a lot easier, so I don't have to have like 15 different smaller air pumps take up a bunch of outlet space. So I'm just gonna be working on this for the next like month in the fish room, so I promise I'll get more video of me building this than I did with the other stands. So this is a bit more in detail. But yeah, see ya.